Hello, everybody, and welcome to Geek Speak. I'm Meredith Loughran with my co-host Matthew Harris. Today we have Joe Hertler. He is a member or the lead singer of the Rainbow Seekers. Now, if you're not familiar with them, you should really tune in because the Rainbow Seekers can illuminate the very chambers of heaven with Joe's smooth vocals and mix of musical sounds and influences.
And folks, if y'all haven't heard them yet, you're going to now. We've actually got a special treat. This is their brand new video, Underwater. And so check it out.
Under lengthening light, inside the breath of May, where I found you, cradled in petals, the colors cast to a windy day. And I was overjoyed by the throes of life, a pulsing, undulating essence. It pushes me underwater. I can breathe. Underwater, I can see. Underwater, the heart here is still beating. It pushes me. Underwater, I can see. Underwater, I can breathe. Underwater, the heart here is still beating. That night, below the silent gaze, I could hear the forest breathing, ancient and grieving. I was overcome amidst the pulsing haze, a milk-white blanket of fog. This is your love, it pushes me. Underwater, I can breathe. Underwater, I can see. Underwater, the heart here is still beating. It pushes me. Underwater, I can see. Underwater, I can breathe. Underwater, the heart here is still beating. And I saw the things that I still know, and it seems my love is overgrown. My love, won't you leave the light on? My love, won't you leave the light on? The light on. And I was overjoyed on that summer day, and I will take my time, 'cause this will fade away. I saw you standing there
is it cuts off at 5 minutes on those videos. But folks, ladies and gentlemen, help us welcome Joe Hertler of Joe Hertler and the Rainbow Seekers.
Hey, Matt. Hey,
Joe.
Meredith. How are you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Did Facebook take down the video or something for copyright when you guys were playing it or something?
No. You know, I got smacked by Mickey Mouse here a while back, just for showing a 30-second clip of Snow White. So
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it is. But you love the video, man, and I have to say, you know, your music is new to me. It came across my desk with the opportunities of what you guys have going on, and I went and took a listen. And man, I have to say, I love it. I like all kinds of music. I really do. I always say from Mozart to Metallica and everything in between. But when I'm working throughout the day, I generally, for whatever reason, the last 2 years, I've gotten into 21 Pilots, and that's who I usually play. But now you've made it into the playlist. I listen to Passing Through every day, and my wife came in the other day and she's like, "Who is that? That's a beautiful song." And so you got two new fans out of it. And then Meredith said the same thing, that she fell in love with a lot of the music.
Oh yeah, it's very inspirational. It's one of those things where when I'm feeling like a little bit low energy and I know I have to keep going, it's great to listen to it because it's just a pick me up, you know. And that's what music does for so many people.
Yeah.
Thank you, Meredith.
You recorded your first album, or I'm showing my age, of course. You've recorded your first CD in 2009 as a sophomore in college. But how long have you been playing and singing?
It really started around then. I've been playing music for a while. So I studied bass. I played like cello and violin in grade school, and then briefly in college. I quit pretty early on. I think I was a little burnt out from like the classical style of music.
Classical training. Yeah.
I wasn't super into it at the time. As soon as I quit though, I started missing it. I had some leftover graduation money. So like probably about halfway through my freshman year, I bought an acoustic guitar with some of the remnants of what I got for graduation money. And I think that's really when I started like kind of like writing songs and playing them. I had a close friend when I was young passed away in a motorcycle accident. And that was really like what initiated the songwriting, I suppose. It was just it was an outlet. It always has been. Life is hard, and we all have our private struggles and stuff. But I guess the way I tend to deal with things is or at least figure things out, is through song, because I'm not always the best talker. But yeah, it was just a kind of a very natural means of getting ideas out there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I know. I know a lot of people who do writing in all different genres and all different fields. Whether it's for scripts, could be comic books, could be poetry, music, all of that. And a lot of times their inspiration comes from a darker place.
Yeah.
But listening to your music, it's so uplifting that it's hard to see that. And there is a bit of a dichotomy, when we're in that dark place, but then we can make this music that inspires other people and make them feel good. I think it's a way for people to kind of share the journey with us.
Totally. Like I said, we all have our private struggles, and I think one of the things I've always said about like the stuff that I write, it's sort of kind of like celebrating that shared melancholy. We all have those times, and we all feel this very similar things, just in different contexts. And I try to kind of put a celebratory spin on all of it, under the notion that we're kind of united in the way that we feel about things sometimes, especially emotionally.
Well, man, you hit a spot for me, because right like 2 weeks after high school graduation, a friend of mine, one of the only ones that was going anywhere in her life, she was accepted to law school. She jumped on the back of a motorcycle and was killed. And I ended up naming my daughter after her, or my youngest daughter. And that's something that stuck with me for a long time. like I said, a bunch of us, at the time, we were all just, into drinking and drugs and just partying. And she actually had her head on straight and her life situated. And that one hit me hard. But I did find relief in poetry. I had to stop writing poetry at a time, though, because everything I saw became poetry.
Yeah.
You start even thinking in that mode. And like I would test myself sometimes and try to go outside of what I was normally writing. And so try haikus and end up seeing everything in haikus and think in haiku. But I guess that's the creative outlet. I haven't had a chance to listen to a lot of your older music yet. I've just listened to some of the newer stuff. Has that transformed over time, or have you pretty much had the same style all along?
Yeah, it's really all over the place. We're kind of a multi-genre band. I'm not exactly sure why. I think just different genres and kind of different vibes of the music tend to allow me to explore different things, different lyrical content. We have there's a funky side to our music, where I can sing about certain things. They're often a little more lighthearted versus with the kind of passing through, which is sort of a folk song, really. And I wrote it on acoustic guitar, where I can get a little more, serious, for lack of better words, a little more reflective. There's a little more space to be wordy and to get those things out. So yeah, there's a range of genres that we sort of touch on in our music, and sometimes the music brings out, or the arrangement brings out the lyrics, and sometimes the lyrics bring out the arrangement. It's kind of random.
Gotcha.
I wanted to know the journey in finding your bandmates, because that's not easy. My brother is an excellent musician, but he's never been able to find people who have been on the same path or the mindset to make music and go out there and perform it regularly, much less cut records. I say records, but you know what I mean. And really pursue this. So that group dynamic is so important. What was it like to find your bandmates? How did you do that? And what keeps you guys kind of together? Because again, that group dynamic can get a little crazy.
Oh, totally. It's a lot of it's luck. I got lucky. Just in college, as I was starting to write songs and kind of getting involved in the various music communities in Michigan, you just start meeting people. And especially in college, there's the music school kids, and it really started, me and my guitar player, we met in college and we're buddies, and he kind of would jump on stage with me when I was doing the solo shows. But we got invited to Lansing, Michigan, where Michigan State University is, to partake in. Someone was doing these little live concert series things that were recorded and put on the internet. And my bassist and drummer were part of producing those. So it's just kind of I'll never forget going to this house to record these and meeting those two guys for the first time. And we just became friends. That's really it. We were all just friends for a while and kind of playing tunes together. And one day, we were just jamming to some stuff I wrote, and we're like, hey, let's be a band, and people have come and gone. Everyone's got different lives, but we're all very close. The guys who have left over the years, they're some of my best friends, and are usually still involved with the band too, in one way or another. So the Rainbow Seekers, there's really about 10 of us really that are involved in some facet, just musically. While the touring party is 6 musicians, but finding people to fit into that is difficult, and in losing a member is also really difficult, and finding a replacement who melds and can kind of it's like bringing in someone to your family, really, because that's what it is. It transcends friendship in every level. It's really akin to a romantic relationship or a
Right.
close family members, you know. It has a very, very similar dynamic where you have to be really open with each other. You have to be honest with each other. There's a lot of, you have to give, you have to put into that relationship. And you got to be flexible within that relationship. And it can be a difficult thing to navigate, but, you know, I love them dearly. You know, we're close. We really are, you know, through thick and thin. Cool. You know, we don't really fight. Sometimes arguments happen, but nothing of any, like, there's not ever like blow ups or any like lasting grudges. So we've been really lucky in those regards, you know, through pretty much everything that we've ever experienced. That's what I'm the most grateful for.
So no Guns N' Roses breakups or anything that.
No, we've been pretty lucky. Things that I try to keep things as fair as possible to you. Everyone gets paid the same, and you got to. I don't know how other bands do it like that or the songwriter.
Well, I mean, it's a true collaboration.
Yeah, it is too. Yeah.
Talent.
Now, do you do all of the songwriting, or do some of the guys come up with songs as well, or do y'all kind of work on a lot of them together?
So how it usually start is me in the studio, like where I'm sitting right now. Sometimes I'll bring in my guitar player or keyboard player to come help out, flesh out some demos. So I'll demo everything in full, you know, pretty much like start with drum and bass and just build it from there. I'll do most of the arrangements. Then I bring in, like I said, guitar and keyboard player, and we'll kind of go over those. You know, they'll add or delete, you know, sort of use them as a second set of ears, just to refine those a bit. A lot of times I'll have them re-record parts because they're way better at piano and guitar than I am, or they'll just, you know, my guitar player is a monster when he can just like come in and I'll have this like super dense arrangement. It just seems like there's no room for a guitar here, bro. Just tell me if the song is, if it sucks or not, you know. But next thing we know, we have 10 guitar tracks sitting on there and somehow it works. You know, also if I get stumped on something too, if like I'm always going to my keyboard player and be like, I need a bridge. I couldn't think of a bridge for this. And then, yeah, he'll just pump something out. But yeah, once we have the demo done, we go to the band. Really, the band as a whole, they're the gatekeepers. You know, it's very rare. I mean, granted, almost always we see eye to eye on like what songs are good and which songs aren't. You know, I'm pretty used to that process. And then, yeah, we learn the ones that we like as a group, as a band, play them out, and then record them.
Mm-hmm. We'll be back right after this.
Check it out. MobileEdge.com has award-winning products with innovative features and contemporary, edgy designs that empower you to look sharp and travel smart with your mobile tech. Your beloved, not to mention expensive gaming gear and mobile tech devices are an extension of you, so give them the protection and style they deserve wherever you go. Find them at MobileEdge.com and protect your tech with Mobile Edge. Bring it on. Hey Geek Insiders, Mobile Edge has a special coupon code for our dedicated listeners. Get 25% off your Mobile Edge gear using coupon code GEEK25. That's GEEK25. Geek out.
Really, the band as a whole, they're the gatekeepers. You know, it's very rare. I mean, granted, almost always we see eye to eye on like what songs are good and which songs aren't. You know, I'm pretty used to that process. And then, yeah, we learn the ones that we like as a group, as a band, play them out, and then record them. Mm-hmm. And they change a lot in that process.
Right.
They go through quite the metamorphosis. Sometimes, to varying degrees. You know. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I can imagine that this is a completely different world from what you started out with, because I read that first album, the Hard Times LP, you recorded that in your dorm room.
Yeah, I did. And it was very, you know, God, I was just doing it in like GarageBand. You know, it's funny though, because it hasn't changed that much, because I'm still just in a small room, like piecing things together. The overall quality of things, I would like to think has improved. I know it has improved. There's those, but you know, even then, it's like those older recordings. Like, it's funny to go back and listen to them, just how sloppy they are, but they like I still like them. You know, I try to like once every like year go through and like listen to that record, and just for the hell of it, really.
I think that's
so
really rare. Because most creators hate the stuff that they put out there. They're like, they want to bring it back and they want to fix it later on. So
that's normally how I am. But after about, it seems about 5 or 6 years, then I can go back and listen to this stuff and appreciate it. like Terra Incognita or the last 2 records we've put out, I don't listen to those at all and will not probably for another couple years.
Yeah.
But the first 2 records I can listen back and be like, you know, this is all right.
A lot of times, you know, we look back and we go, "Oh, little Meredith, wasn't she adorable then?"
It did that too. I'm just like, God, what was I thinking? Some of the stuff is so cheesy. I mean, it sounds like it came from a college-aged kid who's taking
But you were
religion 101, you know, or philosophy 101, and or had gone through his first breakup. Like, it's just like,
but you know what? So many people relate to that because we all go through those stages and stuff. I have to know about your cape.
Mm-hmm.
Where in the world did that come from? Who gave you the idea, or was it just something like, I need something for stage?
Yeah, we've always kind of had like, we've always sort of dressed up for shows, again, to different levels, you know. But my girlfriend made it for me. I don't know, rainbow wings sounded cool. I saw some online. I actually bought them. They were not as good, but it was sort of like, they were like rainbow wings that you might buy your kid or whatever. They're on like Etsy. And my girlfriend's a seamstress, and I was like, well, she could probably do a really good job on this. And yeah, and I was like, hey, could you maybe like kind of make something like this for me? And she did. And, I lost the first pair, which was very sad. They're in Oklahoma somewhere. That was years ago, very long time ago. But yeah, the current pair I've had for probably at least 3 or 4 years now, and they have held up. Like, it's crazy how well they've held up. I mean, they get pretty nasty. I probably only washed them like 3 or 4 times, but yeah, it's I don't like to once I'm off stage, I like to be off stage. I'm living a pretty quiet life, so the costume kind of helps me, I think, transition into like performance mode, and then also come down from performance mode, because it'll be like, you know, we might have like some big show or whatever. I should be all excited about it or whatever, and I'm still just kind of like sort of anxious or whatever, or just like not. I'm like, gosh, I gotta play. What the hell? But then I put the wings on, and it'll be like 30 seconds before I go on stage, you know, and they dim the, cut the house music, and it's like, zzz, all right, kind of.
Yeah, you're getting that zone, that laser focus,
and something. Yeah, it really is. It's a focus thing, and there's a high that is associated with playing, and you kind of need to dampen that when you get off stage. I try to like subdue that in a graceful way. And I think taking the wings off after the show is a good way to go about doing that.
Yeah.
First step.
Cool. Well, shout out to Caitlin then.
Yeah. We've been together for 6 years now.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I've been together with my girlfriend for 3 years, and as of Monday, and we are actually tying the knot Monday.
Oh, congrats. That's awesome.
Well, thank you.
No pressure for you, Joe. No pressure for
Right. She's not in the room, she's not going to put you on the spot. But
you'll listen to this.
Don't get them in trouble.
I had a question, man. It kind of goes to the insider thing. It's one thing I've always wondered about the videos. Now, your videos seem to pretty much coalesce with the song. And so how much input as the artist do you have on these videos, or do they just come to you with a script and go, here's 3 scripts, Joe, you got to pick which one to go with the song?
It all depends. So Lonely was mostly our sax player. I think he came up with that. Well, for videos, if someone has an idea and wants to do it and is excited about it, we're kind of like, go with it, bro. As long as everyone's on the same page, like, this is the song that we want to do. But like Old Love is a very like it's a very like direct story. So that was mostly me kind of plotting everything out, with the guy who produced it. I'm trying to think what other ones. That was probably the main one that like I had, and passing through as well. I thought of actually my original version of it was a lot darker, and then working with the producers of it, they wanted to lighten it up, which it was, I think, absolutely the right decision. So a lot of times I'll write as many ideas as I can out, and then give it to the producers, and we start kind of going through it from there. But Dave Suhanek, the one who did the underwater video that you guys played, he also did Disconnected as well. With someone like him, I'm just like, he's like one of my best buds. I'm just like, if he wants to do a video, like, I'm just like, yeah, do whatever you want. Tell us how much you need. We'll try to pay you on time.
Well,
and,
the underwater song,
4 months.
right? And that underwater song, that's one that gets you catchy, and you can sing it in your head throughout the day and it not be annoying. But you bet, man, you bet. And another question that I had, of course, as you mentioned, there's 5 other Rainbow Seekers. Mm-hmm. How are you guys faring through the pandemic? Are you guys still writing, or y'all communicating via Skype or some other way here? Y'all still collaborating, or?
Yeah, we talk all the time. Yeah, so we're doing some we've been doing some of the live streams. We just recorded a full session for a festival coming up. It's hard to do all of those. The streaming festivals are cool. They're not the same thing. They're best experienced on a projector with like a group of close friends, if you're gonna buy a ticket to one of those. But for bands, it is interesting because it's like you're just going to a studio, recording a session, hopefully getting good takes. Then you got to bounce everything out, mix it, and go through all this. Really an involving process that is much more consuming than just showing up to a festival and playing your set. Mm-hmm. Driving to a festival is not that difficult. But how we are faring this, I'd say pretty good. It is. I think I've just sort of accepted the fact that there's a lot of things I don't have control over, and there are some things that I do have control over, and I can control how much I work on music while I'm in this downtime. And I've just been personally trying to stay productive, been really pumping out songs with the time that I have. Playing a lot of video games too, but it's like, fuck it, why not?
Well, that's something I wanted to get into.
I'm a nerd, by the way.
You're at home with it. You're among family here. But I heard that during the pandemic here, you decided to try to do something to connect with the fans, and you created your own Minecraft server.
Yeah. So we've as a band, kind of like our band friend group and beyond, we've always had on and off had Minecraft servers, and but we've never made it like a public thing, But this time around, we wanted to. It was right as things were. When everyone really realized, like, oh shit, this is gonna be serious, So like almost immediately, it's like, boom, all right, let's get a server up. Found a good seed, and just went with it. And I think it was kind of interesting because we got a bunch of press for it too, which I was not expecting at all. I mean, most people, it's tough being a gamer musician sometimes. There's not a lot of gamer people in the music world. So a lot of our friends were like, what are you guys doing? But it was really fun. We had a ton of people join the server. I mean, I think at one point we had like 50 or 60 concurrent players, which was like,
wow,
crazy. But I mean, we had hundreds of different accounts playing on it pretty actively, which is way more than I expected. We kept having to I think we had planned for maybe being able to support 20 or 30 people at once, but just kept having to buy more firepower to handle it. It's subdued now, For me, it's like I play Minecraft in 6-week stints, and then I'm like, all right, I'll come back to it in a year. That's how it always goes. But yeah, the goal was really to I think people were stressed out and just worried, and I think it was just hitting people that we're gonna have to actually isolate ourselves. So it seemed like a good way for not only us to like connect with the people who listen to our music, but for just people to connect in general, for me to connect with my friends, for my friends to connect with each other and beyond. It's just it's very social in its nature. A pretty active Discord, and yeah,
Cool.
it's literally video games are my social life right now. I play WoW, and it's like I got a bunch of friends playing WoW. And so it's like at night, it's time to raid, and there's always people to talk to, and it's, I'm grateful for that. I think I would, if it weren't for social gaming, I'd probably be struggling a lot more than I am right now.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are, and the people who are comfortable being online or doing things like this, where they can get in front of the camera and stuff, has really been a lifesaver for a lot of people who aren't used to it. So yeah, and people don't think that the gaming side of things is that social, but it really is. I mean, honestly, most of my really, really good friends are people I've never met in person.
Right.
Crazy. Because I connect with them, I think, on a deeper level when we're able to speak and be a little more honest than we might otherwise do when we're face to face. When you're looking somebody right in the eyes, it's like, maybe I don't want to say that thing, and sometimes, and that is conducive to trolling and being mean too.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, we can have those closer connections, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, and there's a basis of commonality when, especially like WoW, for instance. It's like there's something to talk about right then and there. There's never like an awkward moment when you're with a bunch of gamers, because like you start by talking about the game, and then and then you find other ways to connect, and next thing you know, it's like you just make some really close friendships. I have dozens of like very, very good friends that I've just met online, and playing one game, moving on to the next, and and people come and go, and then you once again find a game that you both play, and then you start hanging out all the time again. It's really cool on tour too, because every now and then they'll come out to a show, and the WoW people, especially, because a lot of WoW players are very social, because you have to be to really experience the extent of the game. That's always been like really exciting for me, is when I get to meet my EIRL friends IRL.
Yeah, that's really cool. My WoW experience is limited to my kids wanted me to join, and then they found out what my username was, and they kept on killing me. So it was just like,
oh no,
hey, guys, I'm out of here. Sorry, Mom. I'm like, no, you're not.
Minecraft's a good one to play with the kids.
And I was actually working for Xbox when Minecraft came out, before they bought it.
Wow.
And when it came out, I was like, oh, there's no way this is going to be popular. This is the most cheap.
Yeah.
And then they gave me a copy of it. And so I started playing around with it. And it's fun. And I've dug all around that world and learned how to craft this and craft that. Now, my son plays still World of Warcraft, and I stayed away from it on purpose because I'm very OCD, and once I start playing something, I want to know everything about it. I want to have all the stuff, and I knew that I would end up, alone sitting in my garage playing this damn game. And
highly
then
likely.
My son, he built his own machine to game on that thing, and a couple of monitors go, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, for a game. But that's his thing. That's his relaxation time. He's a manager of a fast food place, and when he's off of work, he wants to play, and that's his time to communicate with people from around the world. He ain't got fans like you have, but I imagine that's got to be really cool to because you learn more about people online. I've got friends that I've had lifelong relationships with and I met them online,
Totally.
whether it was in a chat back in the late 90s or early 2000s or a game of some sort. And we still check in on each other. I've met a lot of them in real life, and that kind of stuff. I don't see it going away. I think it's going to be strengthening now. Chat kind of went to the wayside as social media took over and text. But these kind of things right here of the social gatherings in gaming, having just a place where people can meet and hang out. I think virtual reality will have a lot to do with it, which we've got a guest coming up later that's doing that very thing. But I think it's really cool, man, that you're not just, you and the band hanging out and trying to make it through this. You're still trying to connect with fans. You're still just, having a good time. And I know, everything's probably still on pause right now, but have you all been able to start putting any tour dates together, or is it still just...
Stuff is coming in, but it's so uncertain. The reality of this situation is, it sounds like very small shows are being allowed right now in certain cities, but and this is one of the main points of stress in the industry right now is even once shows start back up, the big shows are going to be limited, and that will slowly increase. But for bands, especially like us, mid-size, I mean, really any band is you rely on those shows in the markets where you're going to do well. Those shows where you can draw, 500 to 1,000 people or whatever. Because for most bands, you're going to have at least like professional touring bands, you're going to have like, a couple markets where you make half of your income, and big shows happen there. The smaller shows are supported by the big shows that you play. And to have those cut off is, it's going to be really tough. And it's going to be interesting to see how people adapt, how the industry adapts, and really like who's going to survive it, and nothing, again, I don't mean that in a weird to say that,
exactly.
Honestly, it could be us. It's just how it is, just got to accept it.
Way to bring it down, Matthew.
No, it's all right. It's a very good question.
And it's something that we're seeing across the board from the small mom and pop comic book shops that, they couldn't even reopen because they went 2 months without being able to pay rent.
Yeah.
I'm after being there for 40 years. And I do believe that a lot of artists are going to have to have a whole new paradigm in order to make money, because just like what you said, the big comic book conventions, I don't see them coming back anytime soon. How can you limit it to 25% of the population or the capacity? Are the big stars going to want to go to those things when they're going to make a fraction of the funds that they normally would on photographs and autographs and all of that?
Even medium-sized arenas and things like that, where you might be able to play and book them. It's like, are they going to make money in order to pay you to be there with a quarter or half of their audience?
Exactly. But those big venues, like half capacity, usually is not profit making. It's really hard to profit is a venue,
unless you're buying like $20 popcorn.
The arenas, it's one thing, it's a little different because usually there's sports and other events associated, but especially those rooms where it's like, the mid to 500 to 1,200 people. I mean, they're all it's hard for everyone. It is. And there's like I at least feel like a weird sense of like solidarity in it. It's like it's not so bad to be in this when I know like other people are experiencing it and having the same fears that I am. It's kind of, I think, like helping me just sort of accept it for reality for what it is,
One of the observations that I've had is that a lot of the mainstream people have kind of put a pause on whatever it was that they were doing. But the indies, they're hungry and they're taking advantage of this time. They're like, oh man, I am like a creating machine. I'm doing this. I'm getting on these things, where I might do a virtual convention or a virtual concert. I'm connecting with my fans like I never did before, because you have that opportunity. Are you finding that you're doing the same thing?
Yeah, to more or less of a degree.
We'll be back right after this quick break. For Geek Insider advertising opportunities, contact advertising@geekinsider.com. We offer space on the website, in the daily newsletter, sponsored posts, and advertising space on our podcast. For details, contact advertising@geekinsider.com. One of the observations that I've had is that a lot of the mainstream people have kind of put a pause on whatever it was that they were doing. But the indies, they're hungry and they're taking advantage of this time. They're like, oh man, I am like a creating machine. I'm doing this. I'm getting on these things, where I might do a virtual convention or a virtual concert. I'm connecting with my fans like I never did before, because you have that opportunity. Are you finding that you're doing the same thing?
Yeah, to more or less of a degree. I've done a couple streams, we're doing some of these festivals. Every now and then I'll just like stream games. So yeah, I wouldn't say I'm doing it in a way that's like where I'm making tons of profit. People just donate, which is really nice. And it's interesting you bring that up too, because it's been, on Twitch. Do you guys watch Twitch? Are pretty familiar with so there's a real culturally within the Twitch user base, donating is just what you do, and Twitch is set up. Same with Mixer, where it's very easy to throw a streamer $5 or $10 or whatever, and then you get your name shouted out, and and a lot of revenue is generated by streamers. I mean, if you have a couple hundred concurrent streamers, you're probably doing it full time at that point, or getting very close to being full time. That musicians have yet to figure out how to do that. The fans of musicians have yet to kind of figure that out. I've watched a lot of streams where a musician will put up their Venmo, but they're not shouting out the donations. There's a lot of little things where that the musicians just haven't figured out how to stream effectively yet. And the fans are still trying to figure it out too, how that all culturally integrates and how to use that technology. It's improving every day. People are slowly figuring it out. Festivals are, I'm building a stage for a Minecraft music festival right now. We got contracted to do some stuff. So there's
that's so cool.
Lightning in a Bottle had someone built their festival. They contracted their festival to be made in I think it was done in Unreal Engine, so people could walk around the festival grounds, watch the sets. So it's been really interesting to just see how things have evolved and are going to continue to evolve for the better. I think that's cool. It's been such an untapped platform in the music world, and if you've been gaming, it's nothing new at all. So we'll see where things end up.
Where can people find you on Twitch?
Twitch.tv/Bro Squirtler. Joe Hertler.
Bro Squirtler?
Yeah.
Is that spelled like it sounds?
Yeah, BROSQUI. RTLER.
Bro Squirtler.
So there was a radio DJ in Michigan that called me at one day on an interview, and it's
stuck.
It's been my gamer tag ever since. I don't awesome. Like Twitch stream. Like I just do it casually every now and then. My cat had kittens, so I was literally just streaming. Yeah, I just stuck a camera on them the other day and let it run for 24 hours or whatever. Sometimes I'll stream WoW or DJ sets or play music, just whatever. But
that's so frustrating sometimes, right? Because you're trying to put some serious stuff out there, and you're like, this is quality stuff, and you get no views, and then you're like, there's my cat, and it's like 100 views, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, it was fun. It did pretty well on I did it on Facebook too. It was on Mother's Day too, which was crazy. She had her kittens on Mother's Day, so it was pretty cool. I was like, wow, this is good timing. I was like, I should probably stream this. It might probably make people happy. It was fun. Yeah.
Now, of course, folks can find, once tours do start up again, and just more information about you at joehertler.com. Is there any social media you want to share where folks can catch up with you, follow you?
Yeah. My Instagram is just at Joe Hertler. Probably if you just type my name into Google, you'll find all my accounts, various things. But yeah, Twitch is Bro Squirtler, Facebook Joe Hertler Music, Twitter Joe Hertler. It's all pretty much the same across the board. So.
All right. Well, Joe, we definitely really, really enjoyed having you here. I'm just thankful that I heard about you because I love the music.
Thank you.
Then having you come on and getting a little insight with you is great. When the world does start up and you guys are able to get back together and start getting out there with tours, or you got another album coming out, please let us know. We'd love to have you on. We have some I don't want to call them cons, but events that are coming up. One in July and then one in October. I'd love to talk to you about the one in July because it's going to be a bunch of indies coming around, and it doesn't look like the world will be completely opened up by then. So, but we'll get in touch, Joe. Anything else that you want to give? Anyone you want to give a shout out or anything before we call it a day?
Oh, it's okay. Shout out to y'all for having me out. So thank you.
Well, we had that one question too, Matthew. Don't forget to ask.
Oh, yeah. I forgot it. We always ask everybody this, Joe, every one of our guests. If you could go back in time and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Don't lose you're going to get a Bitcoin. You're going to have a Bitcoin wallet key. Don't lose it. Keep it there.
Oh, no.
I'd honestly say just I'd say keep doing your thing and things will work out all right. Just I'd probably tell myself to don't doubt yourself so much and also
don't lose your key.
Be honest, don't lose your key. Be honest, be honest with people. Try to be direct. Don't skirt around tough conversations. Which I had a tendency to do when I was younger.
Well, Joe, it was really a pleasure to sit with you today, and we really do hope that we can do it again. And like Matthew was saying earlier, whenever you have a release, or if you're getting on tour, or heck, if you're in my neighborhood, I will come out and see you guys because I would love to do that.
Where y'all living?
I'm in Florida.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I'm outside of Austin, Texas. So music capital, you got to come around here sometime, Joe. We'll have to meet up.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you guys. Holler anytime. So thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, Joe.
Podcast back. Cool. You guys take care. Good luck with your next interview.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too, Meredith. Bye. You too, Matthew. Bye.
Thanks, Joe. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Geek Speak, a Geek Insider production powered by NSC Live TV. Become part of our show with sponsorship and advertising opportunities. For details, contact advertising@geekinsider.com or visit podcast.geekinsider.com. The Geek Insider podcast is available on your favorite app, so please hit the follow button and share it out to your friends. Because if you don't, you might have to turn in your geek card.